essentially ran a homestead for a few years, and you want to get back to that, I think.
Yep.
So something that might interest some folks, and I don't know if it'll interest the RV community necessarily, but is the system that you came up with. Can you explain that in layman's terms of how to run a homestead using what project management people call the Agile method? Can you do that in layman's terms in 5 minutes?
I can give you a
Really
brief the 30,000 foot flyover. So by trade, I'm a Scrum Master.
Mm-hmm. And what's a Scrum Master?
Scrum Master, it comes from rugby originally. For those of us in America, the Scrum Master is the quarterback. But in rugby, it's a little bit different. As I understand it, I'm not a real big rugby fan. I picked this up in my Scrum Master training courses. But he's the guy that's there saying, okay, team, what are we going to do? And he facilitates a conversation for the team to come up with the plan.
And he doesn't tell them what to do.
No,
he has the
team figure out the plan together. So that's what I do professionally, mostly with engineers. It started in software engineering, but I've worked with network engineers and all sorts of stuff. But we were struggling on our family farm, trying to get work done. And I sat down one day and I'm like, if there was only a method to manage our work and help us figure out how to get this all done. And then it's like, duh, that's what I do for a living. So I told my wife, I'm like, I need one wall that I can use. And she reluctantly gives me the family room wall. As long as I find a place for all the pictures. So I relocate the pictures.
Is the sun too bright for you? We can scoot in a little bit.
If I just a little, there we go.
Okay.
So I relocate the pictures and I put up what's called a planning board. And really it's projects coming into a funnel. And then just the way farming works, it works very well on a 4-season rotation.
Right.
Normally in my professional work, we go with 5 sprints, and a sprint is just a 2-week increment.
Okay.
Planning increment. But we did 6, and that made up a season. And then I had, say we were planning
So you had 6 sprints in one season.
In one
6
season.
2-week segments that you broke it up in.
Right. And then I had, so say that was spring. So I'd have summer, winter, and summer, fall, and winter, generally as what's coming up. Then what we do is we have a big backlog. Backlog is just all the work we have to get done this season. And
is it sticky notes? What do you use to record all the work you have to do?
So initially it's sticky notes, and throughout the process it's sticky notes. But I found that a lot of the work we were doing was repetitive. We had to get mulch, put down the mulch, plant the seeds, and then there was a daily maintenance schedule that we had to accommodate. And just different things were reoccurring every spring. We had to do the same things. So I would capture those in a spreadsheet basically, or on little cards that I could print out. So that come spring the next year, I'd print everything out, and then the sticky notes would be, okay, what's unique about this spring?
Okay.
We've got a family vacation this year. And everything has to be a first-class citizen fighting for priority.
Right.
So if it's a family vacation or planting the field, you can only do one of those at the same time unless you convince your relatives that this year's family vacation is on your farm planting your field.
They'll plant the field for you while you go to Disneyland.
So you kind of get an idea of what's reoccurring, but initially it's sticky notes. It's okay, let's just put everything down. And then you kind of prioritize it at a high level. So spring planting, so planting the seeds was kind of one feature. Preparing the garden is a whole nother feature in and of itself. In spring, you've got Easter, and the kids want to go to the Easter egg hunts, and you want to decorate the house. That's all work. It all takes time from something.
So even decorating the house is an activity? Do you call them activities? Tasks.
activity works, tasks, you know,
Okay.
whatever language you're used to using,
Uh-huh.
chores, if you will.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all work.
Right.
And this
Okay.
is just work management. So you write everything down, and
Mhm.
at a high level, you know, we would prioritize, we'd use a technique called weighted shortest job first,
Okay.
where weighted
Shortest.
shortest job first. You
Okay.
can Google it. It gives you this big formula, but in a
Mhm.
nutshell, it's how big is it as the denominator,
Mhm.
and then up on top, it's how critical is it?
Mhm.
Is there a cost to delay?
Mhm.
So, like planting a seed.
Mhm.
You know, maybe today it's not critical, but if we don't get them in by next week, we have no harvest.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's a time sensitivity to it.
Uh-huh.
And you just take some of these factors and then you divide it by how big, just t-shirt sizing. What we've learned is humans are terrible at time estimation.
Mhm.
Just think of the last weekend, your wife gave you a honey-do list,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh yeah, I can do all of this, no
Yeah.
problem. And you're halfway through and you're like, where did my day go?
Yeah. Exactly.
But instinctively, we know size. I mean, if I asked you, and you're looking at the size and even the complexity of it,
Mhm.
and realizing life is just complex.
Uh-huh.
Which is bigger, an African elephant or Harley Davidson motorcycle?
Mhm.
If you put them side by side, which is bigger? Instinctively, just really quick.
Yeah. Elephant. Obviously.
Elephant, yeah. It's physically bigger and it's just more complex.
Right.
We can build the Harley Davidson.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't build
an
an
elephant.
elephant. But even babies,
Uh-huh.
you know, we say we can't compare apples to oranges, but I'd say they're about the same size.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what you do is you compare the size of this work,
Mhm.
and that will tell you how much you can get done.
And you
in a
mentioned
day.
T-shirt size.
Yeah. So a t-shirt sizing is a way to get started.
Mhm.
Just extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. You don't even have to use the extras. If you just do small, medium, large, just get an idea of this is big, this is medium, this is small.
Uh-huh.
And then I kind of list the work underneath those,
Uh-huh.
prioritize them. You know, in the spring, our top priority was generally get the garden ready to plant and then plant it.
Uh-huh.
Because without the first, you're not going to get much out of the second.
Right.
And when we weighted everything and the cost and everything, Easter tended to be towards the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is we weren't not going to do the Easter egg hunts.
Mm-hmm.
We were, even if it meant that we didn't plant something that day, we were going to take the time to do that. We were
Okay.
going to celebrate the season. Christmas is a great example.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot going on during Christmas. And we just recognized as a family, we are going to prioritize Christmas. Now, that doesn't mean that we were going to prioritize everything we do during Christmas.
Right.
But if it comes down to Project X or Christmas, if it was a big enough deal, Christmas was going to trump. So we would just automatically put Christmas at the top. And then
Okay.
everything else underneath it. So that then when we were scheduling our 6-week plan, we could look at the little things and go, okay, this or that. Well, this is Christmas. We're doing that.
Yeah.
And we just tried to put in 2 weeks, how much work could we actually get done? And as we did it more and more, we'd learn exactly how much we could get done and adjust. And the biggest thing about this thing is once you've planned the 6 weeks, whatever's left, you don't feel guilty. You might have something really important. Maybe you promised somebody you would get this done.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't the family's highest priority and it didn't fit, you just got to tell them, look, I'm sorry, I know we promised we'd do it, but we don't have time. We've got all this other work we've got to get done.
Right.
And when we did that, the stress of farming just kind of lifted a little bit because
Wow.
now, and you got to stick to the plan. You
Sure.
go out, weeding is probably in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But if it's not what's the highest priority today, don't stop to weed. They're going to be screaming at you,
Yeah.
but don't stop to weed, and don't feel guilty about it because it's in the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, if it's not in the plan, it's not in the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Weeding just isn't going to get done.
Right.
You have identified higher priorities.
Uh-huh.
And if at some point your garden starts dying because you're not doing the weeding, you can reassess the plan.
Right.
But for now, don't worry about it. Don't stress about it.
Okay. I love it. So you're just applying the Agile methodology, I guess,
Yeah.
to farming, and it relieved a lot of stress. It helped you get things under control. And what did you say, 5 years it took to really get it, or was that, did I misunderstand?
Within 5 years of doing this, we were no longer overwhelmed with the amount of work coming into the funnel and the backlogs.
Because
It
you
was
knew
mostly
exactly
routine.
what was there. It was
Yeah.
well organized, and you knew what was going
And
on.
a lot of the big projects that we had planned to improve our homestead were done within 5 years
Yeah.
because of this. So, it became much more maintenance, and we could actually pick the improvement stuff we wanted to do as opposed to the farm dictating to us, you got to get water fixed or
Yeah,
you're going to
yeah.
kill everything.
Well, there's a question. When things break, how do those factor in? A water line breaks. How
Yeah,
does that
so
factor
you
into-
never want to plan to 100% of your family's capacity.
Okay, good. Good.
That gives you just enough buffer to handle the small things that pop up. Your sister-in-law comes over and says, "Hey, we really need some help doing this." You can set the plan aside and go help her because you got about 20% buffer built into it.
Okay.
Now, if it's bigger, then you stop and you replan. I mean, we plan at the start of every season in a macro fashion.
Okay.
But then every 2 weeks, usually our family did it on Sunday as kind of our family council, if you will.
Yeah.
We'd go downstairs, we'd look at the planning board, and we're like, okay, this is what we've got coming up this week. Does it still make sense? We macro planned it out based off of the high level priorities, but does it still make sense? And oftentimes, 60% of it did,
Yeah.
but 40% of it didn't. Maybe we were able to pull that in and get it done early. Maybe we learned it wasn't necessary, or we just didn't care about it anymore. Something might have changed.
Yeah.
So we'd replan. But in the middle of a sprint, and that's what we call it, sprints, in the middle, if something breaks, something blows up, a tragedy happens, you've got to deal with it. You replan. And if things get pushed out, they get pushed out, and you filter in, and something might fall out. Don't feel guilty. Life happens.
Yes.
This was in the plan, now it's not.
No, it's not.
And it also gives you an opportunity. It's like, well, maybe we can hire somebody to do that. And you can look
okay.
at your finances,
Yeah.
and then you can pull it back in kind of that way. But you got to keep in mind, you've probably got to manage the people you're hiring, so there will be a little bit of work with that.
Right.
So you've got to weigh that with the plan. But
Right.
we've reached out to nephews and said, look, we got to get a drip line installed. We don't have time for it. But it's our next priority, and there's a cost. If we don't get it in, our trees might die.
Right.
And so we brought our nephews up for a week
Yeah.
and put them up, and they put in a drip line for us
Nice.
through our what we were hoping would be our silvopasture, our pasture with
okay.
trees.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, very cool. I love the way you mix that up. Now, tell us. I was Agile certified at one point, so I know some of this stuff, but I'm sure most people aren't aware of it. Tell us about writing stories and how that fits into this whole picture.
Yeah. So when you're doing it as a family, the end user is you.
Okay.
If I was teaching this to my engineering group, it would be different. We would be looking
You
at
have an
from
outside
the outside customer's perspective. But really, what you want to capture is what needs to be done, and the real critical thing, especially when you're dealing with kids or engineers.
Yeah. Anyway,
I love
yeah.
my engineers.
Yeah.
No, I get very mama bear with my engineers.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
you know, I let them poke fun at me. They poke, you know, I
Yeah.
poke fun at them.
Oh, for sure.
Most of the time, I'm not the scrum master. I'm the scum master.
Yeah.
But it's the acceptance criteria. Definition of done. When can we call this complete? That's really what you want to capture. And then when your 12-year-old son comes up and says, "Yeah, I did it," you can go down to the board and say, "Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And did you do this?" Well, no. Okay, then we're not done, are we?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So that's what you call a user story?
Yeah, that's the bare minimum of what we need and when is it done.
Okay. Very good. Now you can get a little bit more detailed.
Yeah,
in there
you
if
can.
want,
Yeah, there
may not be necessary.
there are writing techniques to make it better. I mean, there's behavior-driven development versus traditional as a I need so that. You know,
as a blank, I need blank, so that blank.
Right.
Happens, basically, yeah.
You can get into the justification for it, which is good.
Yeah.
But for just getting started on your own homestead, you know why you're doing it. You know what you hope to get out of it. You know, in the professional world, sometimes it's not exactly clear why you're doing some things.
True.
And oftentimes we do things without a good why, and it was wasteful. So it's good to identify that in industry. But as a family, your kids are only going to give you so much attention span for this anyway. And truth be told, we would start with our kids' involvement, and a lot of times after we got through and made sure that their church activities or their school activities or whatever they wanted that they felt was important was on the board, they'd pull out their devices or take off, and my wife and I would finish the planning, and then we'd bring them back down to make sure that they understood it and that they could accept it. That's probably the next biggest deal. Is we call it the fist of five.
Okay.
And what it is, you know, at the end of the plan, we count to 3 and everybody holds up 1 to 5 fingers. And this is our commitment to the plan.
Okay.
If it's a 1, this is a terrible plan. It's not going to work. I can't buy into this.
Okay.
If it's a 2, I still have some concerns. You know, maybe the teenager is like, "Look, you have not given me enough hangout time. I'm a 2."
Yeah.
And you have the discussion. It's like, "Look, we get it. We're not giving you a lot of hangout time this season, but this is fall. This is harvesting. We need the whole family here to can, to food process, to do all this. We need your help. Winter's coming up. It's not as big of a deal. We can give you more hangout time." You can have those conversations. You can talk about the whys then with your teenagers or, you know, whoever.
Right.
3, not excited, but I can live with it and support it. Meaning tomorrow I'm not going to complain and drag my feet and say, "This was a stupid plan."
Right.
I'm going to make this plan happen. It's not my ideal plan. You know, the teenager, after convincing them, you might get a 3, but you're not going to get a 5.
Yeah.
I can live with it and support it. That's the minimum you want. 4 and 5 are just degrees of excitement. You can you can measure the level of excitement in the plan.
Right.
4, this is a good plan. Solid plan. 5, you know what? Cancel the Disney trip. We're doing this.